It's late March 2015. The bitterly cold winter is finally melting away on Mount Tom. With the snow finally gone, peregrine falcons can attend to the business of choosing a nest site. This male falcon has nested here on Mount Tom before, but his mate from last year has disappeared. He was banded in Vermont in 2003. A new female peregrine has appeared on Mount Tom this year. She was banded in Binghamton, New York. They have chosen their nest site halfway down a 200-foot-high vertical wall. In early April, the pair was observed mating, and shortly afterwards, 2 eggs appeared in the nest. The nest is nothing more than a flat spot in gravel on a ledge, and in mid-May, 2 tiny white fluffy chicks are hatched. The adult male flies off to hunt for small birds, which he brings back and passes off to the mother, and she feeds the chicks. The chicks are at most only a few days old now and have already grown noticeably. The mother cleans the feathers off the prey item before bringing it to the chicks in the nest. The 2 chicks are now about 18 days old. It's June 18th. The chicks are 4 weeks old, and they've grown considerably. Under the hot sun, they appear to be lifeless. But all systems are working fine. Mom is constantly on duty, keeping an eye on her chicks, and is very aware of any disturbance. The male, when not hunting, watches from one of his favorite perches. There's about to be some excitement in their quiet life. State wildlife officials are here to put leg bands on the new chicks. Their arrival has not gone unnoticed. The adult female becomes very vocal. Dr. Tom French and wildlife technician Rick Pecorelli discuss their strategy. Rick will descend on ropes about 100 feet down the cliff.
What is it, Nicole there? Her name?
Yeah, Nicole.
Rick first removes some loose rocks that could fall on him as he descends. He's not directly above the nest, so there's no danger of the rocks falling on the chicks. The adults are not happy with this perceived attack on their young chicks and are circling frantically above. Both adults are now in full attack mode, and the female in particular attempts to drive Rick off of that ledge away from her chicks. Rick is now at the nest. He must put each chick into a cloth bag that can be lowered down to the others who will band them. In defense of their chicks, the adults are swooping within 2 to 3 feet of Rick. These chicks have never been out of the nest. They can't yet fly. They might be tempted to jump off the ledge to avoid being taken, but if they were to do that, they'd flutter harmlessly to the ground. As Rick gently lowers the 2 chicks to the ground, the 2 adults continue to dive past him. Tom French will now examine the chicks and put identification bands on their legs while Ralph Taylor holds them. The adults continue to express their unhappiness with this whole process. It only takes a few minutes to apply the leg bands. It's determined that both chicks are females. The chicks are returned to their ledge. It's decided that instead of placing them back in the nest on the edge of the cliff, they'll be placed farther back on the ledge for their own safety.
We're here at Mount Tom, where we just banded 2 female peregrine falcon chicks in the nest. And Mount Tom, historically, is one of the most famous peregrine falcon eyries or nest sites in the entire eastern United States. We haven't had peregrines in the state for many years after DDT, but our restoration efforts have been successful, and we're very lucky now. We have almost 30 nesting pairs in Massachusetts. And we have 2 new birds to be added to the population from this site this year, and they're great looking. They're 2 big chicks, and they'll be flying in about a week.
My name is Rick Pecorelli. I'm a wildlife technician from the Northeast District, and I'm just helping Tom and Ralph out today with a peregrine banding. Overall, went pretty well. No blood or anything like that, so that's a success pretty much.
How'd the climb go? Was it
Hard. Wasn't bad. I mean, I don't know. It was everyone's different, new challenges, but I think it went pretty smooth considering.
good?
Yeah, a lot of broken rock that came down around him, so he was able to dislodge most of it before he got past it, which was the plan. This was why there was 2 ropes there.
We put a lot of effort into banding these chicks, and people often ask, why do we even do it in the first place? And once we get a band on the leg, it's identification for the bird's entire life. So we can tell how long this bird lives, where it goes to nest itself, and what works and what doesn't work in its life. What are the risks? And so we really do put a lot of effort into trying to mark these birds so we can follow them. We don't band anywhere near all of the peregrine chicks that are born, so a good portion of the ones we encounter are always unbanded, so we never know the whole story. Sometimes the females are aggressive enough, they'll come right in the nest and try to defend the chicks, and if they're not banded, we grab the adult and put bands on her. We don't know where she came from, but at least we'll know how long she lives and when she's replaced. We had at least 2 other females at Mount Tom before this one. This actually is either the 3rd or the 4th. So they do turn over. One site can be occupied for many consecutive years, but as one female dies, she's replaced, and the male dies, and he's replaced. It just kind of goes back and forth like that for an infinite amount of time. Mount Tom was absolutely the most famous peregrine falcon eyrie in the whole eastern United States. In museums, there's more eggs of peregrine falcons from Mount Tom than any other location in the eastern part of the country. And it's also the site that falconers would come and get their baby falcons for falconry. And so some years, just like chickens, if you take the eggs away early enough, and that's what collectors want, they wanted to blow them out before an embryo started, that gives the birds time to recycle and lay another clutch of eggs, just like a chicken would keep on laying. The falcons will do that too. And so some years they would have 3 whole clutches taken away from them and finally get to keep the 4th. And so they didn't pressure them so much that they disappeared from here or abandoned, but a lot of eggs and chicks were taken from the site in the late 1800s and early 1900s.
It's the day after the banding. One chick has managed to climb several feet up the wall above its ledge. We haven't been able to find the other chick yet. The parents have resumed their duties of bringing food to the chicks. The mother brings a piece of food to the chick up on the wall. It appears that she's trying to coax the chick to come to her. Despite the chick's cries for food, she takes the food away. We finally locate the second chick. It's been hiding under a rock on the ledge. The chicks have already lost most of their downy white feathers and are starting to look more like adults. The adults are kept quite busy, hunting for prey that they bring to the chicks several times a day. This chick is now venturing a few yards from the shelter of its rock and takes an opportunity to flex its flight muscles. Sometimes the female has to chase the male to get the food that he's brought in. The excited chick calls for its food. The mother darts in, drops the food to the chick, and leaves. The bird up on the wall just watches silently. It's now the end of June, 11 days after the banding. Life for these chicks is all about eating a lot, resting, and preparing to fly. And on June 29th, we discover that one of the chicks has indeed taken its first flight and is now sitting on the top of the cliff wall. Everything happening around it is a new experience. She becomes aware of something that just has to be investigated. Not yet confident about flight, she hops her way over to the waterfall. The following day, she has flown back down to rejoin her sister on the ledge. Together, they take shelter from the hot sun under the rock. Two days later, on July 2nd, one of the chicks has flown several hundred feet to another part of the cliff. She sits patiently for a long time, watching the world go by. Then, something above catches her eye. Is that an eagle? Two eagles? No, it's just two hang gliders. This girl is all feet. Mom has brought her a meal. It's a white pigeon. Both adults watch from their favorite perch while the chick tears into the pigeon. Is this a look of guilt or innocence? Or maybe just satisfaction? The following days find our young falcons becoming accomplished flyers, soaring around the cliffs, but sticking fairly close to the site. I'm not sure what this bird is up to, but it clips the tops of two trees. The sisters are learning now how to be falcons, engaging in frequent dogfights. After their flying bouts, they rest together. As they become more agile, their flights become more graceful and beautiful. Their twists and turns can happen at lightning speed. This is probably as close as we'll come to seeing a dance in the sky. One of the birds is again doing its treetop clipping maneuver. On this pass, she grabs something out of the treetop. I can't tell if it's a small bird or just leaves. She clearly has something in her talons. The young birds have now learned how to take food from the adults in midair. Here is a series of still photos showing such an exchange. It happens so quickly that in real time you don't even know the exchange has taken place. This bird has been fed, and her hungry sister awaits her meal. Before long, her meal shows up too. Having both eaten now, they find it's time for a little more sisterly togetherness. This dead limb has become their favorite perch. A little snooze is in order. After a couple hours, one bird spots Mom coming with another meal. The snoozing sister misses out on the food and gets nothing but a feather in the air. The adults are leaving them alone a lot more now and feeding them less frequently, so that they'll learn how to take care of themselves. The sisters remain inseparable at this point, but the one sister is still quite hungry. She flies over to the top of the cliff, looking around for tidbits from past meals. But wait, her sister seems to be eating something again. The chase is on. But no luck. The first bird keeps her prize. Apparently, it's important to clean your toes after every meal. Now, back to the favorite perch. On your mark, get set, go. It's now the 4th week of July. The two falcons are ranging farther and farther from their home base when they take their exploratory flights. On July 24th, the two falcons are perched in their parents' favorite tree, probably waiting for food from the parents. A summer storm brings a downpour. As it turns out, this will be the last time we see the two falcons together. The favorite perch where they sat side by side for so many hours is now just another dead limb. In just over 2 months' time, they have grown from egg to beautifully functioning birds of prey. In the black gum swamps of Mount Tom, there's already a hint of autumn in the air. The word peregrine means a tendency to wander. Our two falcons have moved on, and next year, thanks to their leg bands, we may learn where they've chosen to raise young of their own. We wish them well.